Good morning, good morning. How are you? It's a lovely autumnal day. All the leaves are falling off the trees. It's been unseasonably warm, actually. It's a Friday morning. I'm off to my customary Friday morning session. I had yesterday off. Yesterday I managed to do a ton of stuff, which you can only do on a day when you're off. I mean, stupid stuff. Mainly tidying up, making sure things are put back in the place you expect to find them the next time you need them. You know what tidying up means, don't you? Well, I've had my flu jab, blah, blah, blah. It's the season of parents' evenings, which means babysitting grandparents like me while the mums and dads go off and listen to how lovely the little darlings are. And I said to my grandson, I think I might mention this. I said to my grandson, you've got to, don't worry, I said, your teacher will say you're brilliant because if he doesn't say you're brilliant, then she'll be admitting that she's not brilliant. So what else is going on? I mean, there's been a real dearth of videos recently. We're trying, a lot of video creators, I'm sorry I haven't posted anything recently. I'm not sorry I haven't posted anything recently. There's, no, if you've ever created videos, or if you've ever created nearly 500 videos, right, you'll know there's a ton of work that goes on. That, to even get one video. I mean, and I've got a very sophisticated setup now with me, the Lavalier mics and all that. But what I did was to try and speed up the rendering on the, which is the final sort of processing of the video prior to loading it up onto YouTube. I bought a new graphics card, and I put the graphics card in, and I managed to get the graphics card working. And then what I've done is I've unplugged another card which had two USB front-facing USB ports and the headphone, the headphone ports. So I go to try and download, video from the CCTV and that, and it's not recognising it, which means that I can upload it onto the server using a computer, but I do need the headphone because I want to process the video on the computer that's just had the new video card for it. So perhaps I'll try and do something about that one. It's the case that you have to. It's the server as well. You know what I mean? It's the most powerful computer. It's the one that holds all the patient data. So I need to. I need to. Come on, Derek. Come on, Derek. This is something else. I'll mention this. I need to unhook it all when the circuit's not working, and then work out. And then I've got to probably look up the manual for the motherboard, and then find out what two pins I plug the USB ports. So this is the other problem. I'm suffering a lot from, believe it or not, low blood pressure. I've been told my entire life I've got incorrigibly high blood pressure. Okay? He's working early, and that's because when I'm on the, and I've got the incipient diabetes, and they put me on anti-diabetic medication, and then they decided to put me on statins, etc., etc., etc. And then because my blood sugar wasn't coming down low enough, they put me on another drug which eliminates um, glucose from my bloodstream through my kidneys, which means that I've now got even lower blood pressure. So my blood pressure, I would say, at rest now, is quite typically 106 over about 61, 60 something, 67, say. But yeah, but 100 and something, or possibly up to 111, or when it's high, over 68, 69 at the highest. You know, which is, and there's no follow up. It's not like I even know whether that's. I mean, that might be brilliant. I mean, and I'm rather assuming that it is brilliant. I've not rung the hospital. Wait, my property too late now. I might have to, but it is running a system which is a hydraulic system. Basically, your body is a hydraulic system, and running it on a reduced blood pressure is a bit like, you know, when southern water comes down, and all of a sudden you find that your tap water pressure's gone down, and so you can't fill up the kettle so quick. And so what I'm doing is I find I'm increasingly sort of sitting around thinking how nice it is to be just sitting around, as opposed to getting up and doing something stuff. And obviously you get tired of the evening and stuff like that. I come in, mind you, that might be just because I'm 66. I just come in the evenings and then sit in a chair and put on an episode of Randall Hopkins Deceased and go to sleep. But the temptation is to go to bed at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. And you're talking to someone who, like, for decades stayed up till 12:30. I wouldn't go to bed until I heard the sibling calls. And now, and then I was got old people as well going to bed early and getting up at Sparrow Park. But now I can see the attraction of it, especially these days when it's really dark. Dark in the evenings, and you know, and you have to see daylight. You have to get up early in the morning now. Well, so that's why I haven't posted any. It's not like I haven't made any videos. I haven't posted any because I can't do any post production on them. But hopefully after today I'll get them fixed and I'll upload one. And then if the red ring goes quickly, I might be able to upload 2 a day, you know, and I'll soon catch up. Anyway, I hope you're well. Just give this last bit, then fair enough. I do want to talk a little bit about dental stuff at the moment. The uh, stories that are big, dentistry is sort of quite big in the news at the moment. And the stories are basically, there are 2 stories. One is that they've produced a matrix which allows calcium to migrate into the matrix. And they're, how can I put it, they're optimistic that it might be the first stage in enamel formation. But they might have reproduced the first the first stage of recreating something that might repair a decayed tooth. Now I'll deal with that one first, but that to me is the most incredulous, and the trouble is the late people lap this up. I mean, they have, I'm going to get a bit closer behind this loader because he's actually whizzing around quite fast. Hopefully he'll get the lights to go green and I can whiz through after him. Oh, yes. Who dares win? So, just a bit of background for those of you who are not dentists or who are dentists who've completely forgotten whose years at dental school were a complete blur. The the way a tooth forms is it starts in the middle. And there are 2 types of cells. one that goes up from the middle and produces the top, the enamel, and one that goes down from the middle and produces the dentin, which is the bulk of the tooth. So the ones at the top are called enamel blasts, and the ones at the bottom are called dentinoblasts or ameloblasts. So substantially correct. Probably not completely correct, but substantially correct. Okay. So then from there you have to then take a sideways jump with the sort of things that people always want to hear about the dental profession. And that's basically that we've invented a painless drill, we've invented a painless injection, and that we've invented a way for people who've lost their teeth to grow new teeth. And the growing new enamel is fits fairly and squarely into that third category. So you're turning somewhere, aren't you? Yeah. I'm not going to overtake. So of course the press and the public, lay public, swallowed this hook, line and sinker as a massive great stride forward in progress towards being able to spend your life scoffing squeeze, lose all your teeth, get decayed all your teeth, and then be forgiven by what's that thing they used to buy in the Middle Ages when they've been sinful, a papal something like that. Get out jail free card and just have a new set of load of teeth grow. Now, the people who want that, really, in my opinion, have no idea, and why should they, of the complexity and the beauty and the wonderful miracle of creation, by which I mean biological creation. And, these people, all the people that you see around here today, there are possibly 1 billion things that have to go right in their bodies every day for them just to stay alive. And they're blissfully unaware of all these things. And they see an article that says, scientists can develop a matrix that can attract calcium. First step towards creating tooth enamel. They don't have the first idea where that might be. They hope it's like towards the end. They hope it's the final piece in the jigsaw, whereas in fact it's not even the first piece in the jigsaw. It's just someone's found a way to make paper. So, but they want something that you can just paint on their decay that will reverse their decay. Now, personally, I think it's far more likely that we'll be able to grow teeth because we'll develop tooth germs, a way of nurturing and creating tooth germs, possibly out of stem cells, that will mean that we can implant them in the gums in the same way as we drill into the gums and place implants. And then what will happen is there'll be a ton of new teeth coming through. And it'll be like in vitro fertilization, in vitro fertilization, and then implantation in vivo. And then these teeth will come through, and then there'll be a whole industry in straightening them up. And but I mean, I don't know who's going to be eligible for this of creation, because the sort of people it's like implants. The sort of people who need implants are the sort of people who can't look after implants, because they've demonstrated already they can't look after their teeth. So why should they be able to look after their implants? And then the sort of people that would benefit from having like half a dozen new lab-grown teeth are precisely the sort of people who haven't looked after their teeth and probably, won't have the. I mean, it's gonna benefit people with things like anodontia, which is where your teeth naturally don't form, or where a substantial number of your teeth don't form. These people are going to benefit greatly from it. But the man in Ramsgate High Street has got no teeth. Is he going to come in for a quick wall plug full of new teeth? But that's the way I see science going. Anyway, so that's what do I know. I've only been in the business for 50 years and seen every bloody miracle under the sun promised and not delivered. The other story is there's a link between gum disease and decay, and in particular both. Patients who have both and strokes, both coronary strokes and brain strokes. Now, this link has been bubbling away for a long time. I can't say that it's made any particular difference to the number of people who've come in to get their gum disease treated. Really, it's a scientific discovery that really hasn't penetrated into the mainstream yet. So, what sort of legs this thing's got, I don't know. But the first thing I think about this as an experienced dentist is that how can I put it? People tend to get gum disease or decay. It's very rare to get both. I mean, usually, if you've got gum disease, all your teeth fall out, and you lose through gum disease. You don't really get a chance to lose them through decay. But decay is the earlier of the problems. It occurs in your late teens, early 20s, mostly. Although in some people it can persist into 60s and 70s if they're like recidivists, and they've made a decision to not give up the cakes, biscuits, and sweets in their life. They, in the blind faith that the dental profession can always pull some sort of solution out of the bag, or that they'll never be in enough pain to need to worry, or that they can always eat as long as they can eat. Okay, then why worry? So, by the time people are starting to lose their teeth through decay, they're a bit young to be losing their teeth through gum disease. And there is just almost like an inverse relationship I found, where people get one or the other. It's very rare to get both. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm sure in the extreme lower, the depths of social classes, E, C2, D and E, and probably F, G and H as well, people have got everything. But it's an interesting study because they say it was done over 26 years. And it's a very strong correlation. Well, when I say correlation, okay, I need to explain correlation. When the wind blows, the trees all rock from side to side. Does that mean that the trees rocking from side to side causes the wind? No. When it's sunny, ice cream sales go up. Does that mean way to get the sun out is for everybody to eat an ice cream and the clouds will part and the sun will come out? No. So you all know this old saying that correlation does not imply causation. So what they're saying is it's strongly correlated. Now, obviously, the first thing you do when you're making a study like this is you then say, yes, well, I've adjusted for everything else. I've adjusted for all the other factors that we know cause strokes. So any residual impact must be down to the fact that we were studying, which was gum disease and decay. Now, the reason why this 24-year study was a study on strokes and the incidence of strokes. And by sheer happenstance, I don't know, strike some miracle. On one day in the 24 years of this study, people in the study were supposed to have a dental exam. Now, you and I might think, oh, dental exam, they've seen a dentist. No. Typically what happens is they go into a hospital, and in this hospital I have to watch out here because people get really weird here about this runoff place. They get really cross if you don't go right down to the end. Yeah, and so then what happens is, oh, someone blame me, and that's nice. What a nice person. People see you're blocking the traffic in the second lane, and so they tend to be nice to you. What they do is then they say, someone says, who's not a dentist, says, open your mouth, and they got a clipboard and they look inside and they say, oh yes, tooth, crown, root, decay. And I think the reason why this dental examination was slightly more advanced, they boast about the fact that it was slightly more advanced than your average dental checkup because they used a tongue depressor, which means that they could probably see the lower teeth properly. so, so what they've done is they've then just taken, I think, the results of this stroke study and correlated that with the data on the reported decay and gum disease, the cohort, which is, so they've not really done anything much other than just feed a new, take a fresh look, take a fresh view of the statistics that this long-term study on strokes has done. And, at one point in the study they'd measured the size of people's kneecaps, I dare say some lazy investigator is going to come along and write a paper on the correlation between strokes and kneecap size. But it's more sort of what I would call anecdotal evidence of a relationship. How we're going to use it in surgery, I don't know. Next time I get someone in who's like got high plaque score, am I going to say to them, you're a 64% increase of one big stroke because the bacteria in your mouth is hypothesized, not proved, or hypothesized that you might swallow them and then they'll go in your bloodstream and cause a blood clot. I think not. I might mention it. I don't know. I can't see it becoming a mainstream part of my practice. So, there's all the naughty boys and girls who don't want to go into school. They're all out here smoking or trying to smoke or trying to get laid or whatever. So when you see these things in the news, dear listener and viewer, don't get carried away. Nothing new under the sun. And we're certainly not in the 50 years I've been in practice. I certainly don't expect there to be any advances in dentistry. Oh, no. Oh, other than AI, and I've had a little adventure with AI, and I'll tell you all about it the next time we speak. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.